That's three.
I don't know if I'm going to be using Zoom for even like defending my paper and stuff. I probably should buy the upgraded version.
You will. No, they will buy it for you.
Oh.
Hello?
Yeah.
Does anybody have it and they want to use it instead of my free version?
I don't.
No.
It's funny you mention it. I just canceled my subscription because I did my interviews over Zoom.
Yeah.
And I had the $15 a month, but once I got done with data collection, I canceled. But yeah, the free version, it's just every 45 minutes you have to.
No.
You have to do a new meeting. Or maybe just maybe next time you can already have the second one set up.
One more question, since we have a limited time, please.
Yeah.
One more questions. I guess it's important. Finding the theoretical foundation of your study. There's a question that is in the rubric. How would your study contribute to the body of literature concerning the theoretical foundation? I mean, how would your study develop the theoretical foundation? Right?
You're asking that?
I'm asking, how would we handle this question? Your study should contribute to the theoretical foundation, should develop the theoretical foundation, which, as I understood, there should be something that is missing in the theoretical foundation, and your results or the results of your study would fill this gap in the theoretical foundation, which hasn't been mentioned.
Okay, so how I approach mine, once again, everybody's going to be different. Because my theoretical foundation, I'm using one called the transition model, right? So there was it's mainly been applied to veterans transitioning to higher education. It hasn't been applied to veterans transitioning to the civilian workforce or my population. So that's how I addressed it in mine, saying that, it will be extended. My study will extend this model by applying it to a different context and a different population. Mm-hmm. That's just how I did mine. So yeah, so you have to see how is your stuff, how is it going to extend, that model, that theoretical foundation? Is it your population? It sounds like for you, it's your, what you're actually studying, that part, that critical thinking and whatever else you said. That's how it's extending it, because that model has never been applied in that particular context.
To speaking.
Exactly.
And the reason why I'm asking this question, because my residency instructor sent us an example of a prospectus that, as she said, was well done. And she was highlighting what this prospectus has dealt with the theoretical foundation. For example, this factor, which is a variable in the topic, in the title of this prospectus, corresponds to some variable that was mentioned in the theoretical foundation. For example, let me take my study as an example. I have three variables: critical thinking skills, language learning, and highest level of education of ESL students. According to what the instructor said, your theoretical foundations should have mentioned these variables when they are, because this is what you will base your study on.
It's true.
So that's true.
Yeah, I mean, because everything when you write your research questions is based around, one, your problem statement, and is based around your model, your theoretical foundation.
And even the hypothesis that you're making about the assumption, and your hypothesis based on the research that you've read before. Like, you hypothesize that speaking and critical thinking are related in some way because you have evidence from prior research that suggests, it doesn't have to explicitly demonstrate, but suggests that there is something there. So based on because we test a hypothesis, right? We're doing a dissertation on a hypothesis. And the hypothesis has to be collected for some reason. So
For quantitative, yes.
Yeah.
For qualitative, yes, because in
Yeah, I'm doing
qualitative,
qualitative, so I don't know about that part.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay.
you definitely have to be able to tie your research question hypothesis, you have to tie it back to that model. So I don't know, whatever model you're using, does it talk about, you know, those aspects that you're looking at? You have to be able to tie it back to that model or theoretical foundation. I keep saying model because I use the model, but.
Well, I actually have to ask a question about that. So when I approach this first and they're asking for the theoretical orientation support or the model support, I was thinking like, oh, you want me to talk about something like, you know, Bandura or Skinner or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I thought that I had to find some philosophy, like a philosophy or psychology model to support my research, which is kind of hard for me to find right now.
Yeah, you got to find it.
Yeah, because I did. I had to find a theory. And
yeah, theory or a model, yeah, something. And that's where that reading come in. Looking at other dissertations, what did they use?
Mm-hmm.
The article,
Yeah.
what did they use?
But sometimes you can find it in the article itself.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but
Because that's how I found mine.
Find it.
I found my theory in the article.
Yeah.
Or like the theory of intelligence, like, you know, are you exploring intelligence at all? Is intelligence coming up at all in your dissertation, in your work? Are you basing intelligence on critical thinking skills, or because you can do a model of intelligence and like what intelligence is?
Well, I'm not gonna develop like an intervention. All what I'm trying to do is to do a like correlational study. I'm not gonna complicating my study on myself because that's gonna take a long time. But all of what I'm going to do is, as I told you the last time, I mean, I'm gonna have my sample students, the participants, and giving them a pre-language test to evaluate their language proficiency, and then I'm gonna give them a critical thinking test which is valid, which has been used in recent research, and then I'm gonna see how, according to their critical thinking skills, how they are doing concerning language proficiency. That's the first thing. The other thing is I'm gonna like collect demographical data from them concerning their highest level of education. They should be of different levels of education. Some of them have finished a high school diploma, then some of them maybe have like postgraduate degree, whatever, and try to correlate to see does their critical thinking level differ according to their level of education. So this is all what I'm gonna do. But the theoretical foundations that I have found is like two theories. The first one is concerned with the critical thinking. The other one is concerned with language acquisition, which is Krashen's language acquisition theory. And I'm just kind of confused about how to relate these theoretical foundations to my research questions and to my purpose statement or problem statement.
So you're using a theory of language acquisition and a theory of critical thinking.
Correct.
Okay.
Because these are the variables. And I'm looking for a theory that, because my other variable is highest level of education. The thing that I'm confused about, even my instructor couldn't answer my question, is how to find like a theory that deals with level of education, or just how can I get it? How can I get it? Where can I find it from? Because if I don't have a theoretical foundation for this specific variable, my study could be refuted.
What about using a couple, like for example, you use a theory of development, like or psychosocial development, or some sort of like lifespan development theory, because the more education, the older the person's going to be as well. And then you could also use like intelligence. That intelligence is not fixed per se. That intelligence and critical thinking is linked to intelligence, correct?
It is.
So you can like use a theory of intelligence that with now I'm stuck. I just confused myself. But something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just gonna have to. Yeah, you gotta find that theory. Yeah, you gotta.
For each variable, there should be a theory.
Is that
Yeah,
true?
I don't know if it's for, once again, quantitative, I'm not sure, but I know it's for each. Okay, so qualitative, whatever model or theory that you have to have a research question that addresses, that stems from that model. So it's not necessary, there's different variables, that a theory may cover, but you don't have to cover each one. Yeah, I'm not sure if you have to have a theory or a model for each variable. That I don't know.
That's my question.
Yeah.
How many research questions do you have?
Sorry?
How many research questions do you have?
How many what? I'm sorry.
Research questions.
Research questions do you have?
I got my research questions. The overarching research questions that, if you don't mind, let me get them here. Yeah, I have 3 research questions.
You have 3 research questions?
Yeah. Okay. The first research question deals with critical thinking skills, language learning, and highest level of education, which is called the overarching research question. And then I split this question up into two questions. The first one, is there a significant correlation between critical thinking skills and language learning? The third research question is going to be, is there a significant correlation between critical thinking skills and highest level of education? That's going to be 3 research questions.
Because you will have 3 research questions. So technically, you're going to have to look for, okay, just for instance, I would recommend try to get at least 2 theories that talk about, that's linked to these research questions. And when you send it to your chair will tell you, okay, I don't think you should use this one, but use this one. Because I'm telling you that because when I did mine, I did 2 research questions. I had 3 research questions, and then we bumped it down to 2, and then we're back up to 3 research questions. But now I'm only using 1 theory to cover all 3 research questions.
So your chair is going to help you with those.
Yeah, the chair will tell you, okay, I recommend, okay, this one might not be the right one to use, or this one will be the right one to use. Because I had 2. When I submitted my first proposal to her, I had 2 theories, and I had 3 research questions. Then she told me, no, just bump it down to 2 research questions, and then take out one of the theories. Then after submitted it to my methodologist, which I just got back about 2 weeks ago, they added another research question, but I still have 1 theory. But my 1 theory is covering stress and depression. If you can find a theory that covers your 3 research questions, then you only need 1.
If not.
You understand?
But if not.
But if you already have 2 different theories, or you have 3 different theories, I will submit it to the dissertation chair and let her tell you or recommend to you which one she thinks you should use.
Okay, but my question is, if I already have 2 theories, however, there is 1 variable that's still not covered by a theory from these 2 theories.
You need a theory.
You need a theory, so you need to look for another theory that's going to match that 3rd question.
Yeah, you have to link it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you have to. But I mean, she makes a good point. When you get, your chair, there's going to be a lot of changes. When you get to even further on down the road to AQR, like my chair had me, I had 3 research questions. She said change it to 1. I said, yeah, but the minimum is 2. like,
Yes.
change it to 1. So of course, when I got to AQR, my AQR kicked it back, saying, no, you
So
need
you
to
had
have,
one.
2 or 3 questions and address each one of your models.
So this is another issue then.
Yeah.
Even when the chair
Yeah.
approves your prospectus, there is a chance that the AQR will kick you back again.
Yeah. Yeah. A prospectus is nothing more than an outline. I mean, it lays the foundation, but you're building upon your proposal is really where your meat and potatoes are. Yeah, your prospectus is, I
It's
think
just a little piece of it.
outline, but your
Yeah.
proposal is really where your meat and potatoes are, and that's what goes to AQR is that proposal. So even though you get an approval from your committee from your proposal, when you get to AQR, you're gonna get it's gonna be changes. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah,
So the AQR had the final decision.
Yes, your AQR is where it's it has to be approved before you can defend it. Your proposal, yes.
And in which dissertation class did I get my AQR?
AQR, you don't go to AQR until your committee, all 3 members of your committee has approved your proposal. Not your prospectus, your proposal.
When will be that? In which course? In which class?
That's up to you. It depends on how long it takes for you to get your prospectus done. That there's no specific class. Yeah, no.
No, when your methodologist send that to the chair and said, yes, this study can be done, then your chair is going to tell you, go ahead and start working on chapter 2. But my chair was like this. She said, from day 1, while I'm looking at your proposal, you work on your literature review. So when I talked to her the other day, she said, when I submit my literature review in 2 weeks, I'm supposed to start chapter 3.
Yeah.
So you have to keep doing. So while you're working on, when you submit that first perspective to your chair, start working on chapter 2, your literature review.
Yeah, and don't put
it together.
Don't put too much stock. Okay, you should have a draft prospectus done by now. But I wouldn't put too much stock in it. I mean, when you submit it to your chair, that's when you're going to get the feedback that counts. That first round of feedback is what counts. The stuff that you got up to this point, just don't be surprised.
She ain't lying. I was surprised.
That's the only thing that I'm saying.
We submit the one that we got from the second residency, that we submitted to our second residency.
What was that? You was breaking up a little bit.
Can we submit the prospectus that we got from the second residency?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't. Yeah, I mean, if you see, things have different since I've been through. We didn't have to submit a prospectus, but if you have a draft prospectus done, I think like that first week of that first dissertation course, that's going to be your first assignment. Is a draft.
Yeah, first assignment. That's it.
Oh,
So the first day, the first week, the first day you have to submit your professor, the one that you're working on.
Oh, okay.
But I would.
Can I ask you guys a question? Okay. So, is everybody okay? I'm not talking over anyone.
No, go ahead. We're listening.
Okay, great. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I've turned in this perspective to about at least 2 of the teachers. I've never gotten a feedback. They just give me 100% credit and tell me, great job, keep going. I don't have any direction. So what I've started doing, because since the second residency, I've already taken the perspectives and put it into the proposal. I felt that I've done as much as I can do. Now that I've put it into the proposal, one of the things that I've noticed that they're asking for example, because there's a document that tells you from your 10 strategic points, this is where you put it in the prospectus. From the perspective, this is where you put in the proposal. And I've noticed that the theoretical foundation is going in several different places.
Oh, yeah.
The nature of the design is going. So do I reword it? Because it's like, am I dropping the exact same wording in these different places, or do I reword it?
Yeah,
Is your
TII is like 50% because you plagiarize yourself.
Right.
No,
That's what I
okay.
was wondering about.
Okay. Are you still in your core classes? What point are you at? The dissertation classes or your core class?
I get my chair in the next 4 weeks.
Okay. You will find, okay, as you start working on your proposal, there's a lot of repetition. Copy and paste. You need to make sure that your language is the exact same and different, like your problem statement, your research question, the nature of the design. Perfect example, yeah, it's going to be in chapter 1, and it's also going to be in chapter 3. Copy and paste.
Yep. Okay. Because that enough. I can
Once again, the chair might tell you something different. That's just my experience.
I would add, my chair told me that too.
Yeah.
You just copy and paste it in there.
Copy and paste it.
Paste it in there.
Yeah, but yeah.
So it's the same thing. I did the other day, after I got my approval from the methodologist, I just went ahead and copy and paste everything into my proposal, word for word. Whatever was on my proposal, that's exactly what's in my proposal. I didn't touch it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. And then, am I going to get any feedback? Because I've never gotten any feedback.
At your chair, yes, from your chair, that's where the feedback comes in and where it counts. The stuff up to this point, if you got feedback, that's great. If you didn't, which there was occasions I didn't, when you get in that first dissertation class, that's when that feedback's going to start coming once you get that chair.
Well, until then, do you just like assume that you're fine? Like, do you assume like everything's great?
I wouldn't say assume,
I feel like
I would
it's
say
fine, but I don't know.
I wouldn't say assume, but if I were you, my recommendation would be to follow the rubrics the best that you can. Make sure you address everything that's on their rubrics. Yeah, you kind of, unfortunately, do you have a residency? I know the PhDs, they're not required to. Are they required to go to residency or no?
The new people are.
Yeah, the new
people
are.
The new program.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I did.
You're not required?
I think those that in the new program have to do residency.
Yeah. But not me. I started before they.
I finished 2 residencies, but I didn't really get any feedback at all. Both residencies were a waste of my time.
I need to go. I need to get in order to go, I need to get all of my paperwork together, which by this time I have it all. I know that I have it all by this time. I just need to kind of formally put it together and submit it, and then go and
you need to go
do it.
But yeah, the majority of the feedback will come, from your chair in that first dissertation class. But yeah, unfortunately, up to this point, you kind of have to assume that if you follow that rubrics the best that you can by looking at different dissertations, GCU dissertations, or, asking questions. Yeah, but really, unfortunately, feedback from your chair is all that really matters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had someone else just outside, a friend of mine, go through the rubric, go through my paper. They said they saw everything. I addressed everything. Now we just, like you said, wait for the chair. I get the chair and then see if he or she is happy with it or not.
Pretty much. I thought I addressed everything until they start highlighting stuff. People like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, I'm there with you, Ann. I'm there.
Yeah, the terminology, like the gap in the, this study will fulfill the gap in the literature. You have to use terms that it stands out to them.
Yeah, gap, limited. Yeah, those words have to be in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good point.
Who sent me messages?
I upload all the videos on YouTube, so I'm actually typing out the YouTube.
I want to ask a question. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to ask a question because I heard Anne mention it regarding the, well, in 4 weeks I'll be starting my perspectives class as well, and I've been working on my my strategic points as well as my perspectives. And I noticed for this residency, we had to submit a sample of that. And the class that I was doing before, we had to submit a sample of that. I submitted twice. And what I got from a feedback from the one in my regular class, the professor indicated that, okay, I needed more. We got more information. I started off well, but I needed more information on my ethical consideration because I didn't know about that until later on down. I needed to add more. I needed more information on the, I guess, the data collection and so forth. I gave them what they wanted, but I guess he wanted more in depth. Maybe you could share with me, I'm still working on those 4 areas I need to work on in more in depth. Maybe you could share with me, because they ask for certain paragraphs, and you want to stay in the limitation, you want to be concise with what they want, but then he said he can get more. So that was sort of confusion there.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're asking for more information, and that's, you know, that's another thing too, that they tell you the perspectives. I don't know, well, when I did it, oh, it's not supposed to be over so many pages.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Asking for all this stuff, that damn thing was like 30 or 40 pages by the time I got done, you know, but
I'm sorry about that, but you went over yours. I had to literally cut mine down to 10 pages.
Well, see, everybody is different. Yeah.
I literally had to cut it down to 10 pages. I had 15, and she was like, it still said you have to cut it down to 10 pages. I had to cut it down to 10 pages. I said, but you're asking me for all this information to put in. But when I put it in there, it's going over the page count.
Yeah.
So that was what that was frustrating me.
Yeah. Once again, each chair is different. My chair at the time, you know, which, you know, she kept saying, well, your perspectives is like the foundation for your proposal. You're just going to copy and paste. So her mindset was put more in your perspectives so you'll have less to do when you get to your proposal. But I'm like, yeah, the page count. But yeah, I just added what she wanted to add. You just got to look at, you know, other dissertation, other articles, and put as much stuff in there as you can. Don't just put one little sentence, you know, you have to expound upon stuff, you know, provide citations, your arguments, you know, not your personal thoughts. You have to, you know, show that you've done your research. So, yeah, she is asking for more stuff, then yeah, you have to give her more stuff. You know, the ethical piece of it. How are you going to store the information? How are you going to protect their identity? You know, all of that type stuff. How are you going to destroy it when it's done? You know, you have to put all that stuff in there.
What happened is I didn't put it in, but after they indicated the areas I need to go into, I did some research on various qualitative books, and then I noticed how you ask consent, how you know the interviews, what you're going to do with the person, not to identify them. Some persons need to number them the individuals. So all of that I didn't put in there, but I read about it afterwards. So now that is the meat that they want me to put in there.
Well, that's primarily for the IRB, isn't it? Like we're doing that in IRB, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't know that part of the being there beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Because he wanted more. So now I know I need to put in more information into that area.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Rely on articles and dissertations, not more so books, but you know, you can only use so many books. I think the limit is 5 or 10. It might be 5
or 10. Yeah, 10 is the max.
Okay, so but
10 books, and I think 5 dissertation, and I think 75% of your information be, I think, new. Yeah.
If they're asking for more, you gotta expound on it. A perfect example, like how to give more. Chapter 3, it might be chapter 1, where you might say, oh, I'm going to do a qualitative design. You know, I'm going to do qualitative, or I'm going to do quantitative. Don't just stop there. You have to say why you're not doing the other one.
Yeah.
You know, you can say, I'm doing qualitative. However, quantitative is not being used because of blah, blah, blah. Mixed method is not being used because of blah, blah, blah. You have to,
Expand.
you know, expand upon it. Don't just say, I'm doing qualitative, this is the reason why, and leave it at that. No, you got to expand on it.
Yes,
so, that's a good point that I've learned in the residency. Not only with the method, it's also with the design. For example, if you're doing like a quantitative method, you're gonna first mention the 4 designs that cannot fit in your study, and then you're gonna say why they don't fit. And then after that, you're gonna discuss the design that you're following and say why it fits. That's a good point.
Yeah. So that goes with your design too. What you're saying, qualitative, quantitative. If you're doing a case study, okay, why aren't you doing phenomenological? Why aren't you doing narrative? You have to say why your design or why your method, why you chose it and why you didn't choose it. You have to go in detail. List citations.
Can't just make it up.
Current citations.
Yes. Current citations. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, 8 more minutes. I guess that's it. Thank you so much, Raquel, for these calls. And as I said, if you all agree that we specify a topic for our next call, just please, Raquel, post it on Facebook, and you guys would prepare some questions concerning this topic. Hopefully, we can help each other. We can get the help that we need.
Great. I will continue to post the link on Facebook, as well as send out an email and an email list. And if everybody's open, we will meet again on Sunday at 3 p.m., which next week is
23rd.
23rd. So we'll meet again on the 23rd at 3.
I will not be participating on Sunday. I have a date with some ladies from the PhD program, so we'll be having lunch together.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, join back in when you can.
Will do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for participating.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Raquel.
Thank you, and everyone take
You're
care.
welcome. Great talking.
You too. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.